Hey everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. Today's video is another watch me do my nails, and today I'm going to be doing a long acrylic set. I absolutely loved how these turned out, so I hope you all enjoy watching. I have already prepped all of my nails and applied the Glitter Planet pre-pinched stiletto tips, and I've also come in and done a thin clear acrylic base using the CJP crystal glass, and I'm also using the one monomer today. So I've already got my bases down ready for the design, and first up I'm going to be coming in with CJP Hot Ember. This is such a gorgeous colour for autumn. It's that really rich sort of berry colour. I absolutely love it. However, I did find it a little bit tricky to work with, to be honest. Usually when I'm doing a full colour nail, I would just paint on a thin layer of colour and then cap in clear. But this particular colour just seemed like it didn't like being painted on, to be honest. I think as well, maybe my ratio was a little bit too wet as well, which didn't help. But it just worked a little bit better when I applied a slightly larger bead and just pulled the top of the colour down the nail, letting the pigment sort of come together a bit more with the acrylic, if that makes sense, because it did seem as though the pigment was marbling a little bit. I think as well, maybe I haven't used this colour since I bought it last autumn. All I simply did was swatch this one and I didn't actually use it in many sets. So maybe the pigment settled a little bit and it needs a little bit of a stir, but it just was a little bit tricky to work with. However, it was worth playing around with because it's absolutely stunning. So you will see that I'm coming in with a couple of small beads and just building up that colour until I'm happy with the coverage. And then because I'd built up most of the structure with this, I did just come in and only cap it in clear slightly, because these are strength powders. Technically you don't need to cap them. That's just my personal preference when it comes to doing a full colour nail. I just paint on the colour and then cap in clear. But where I had built up most of the nail with this colour, I ended up only popping a thin clear layer over the top. And then that is the little nail finish, so we're going to move on to the middle and ring finger. So on these nails I'm going to be doing baby boomers, so I'm starting off with Milky Pink, which is actually a gorgeous soft white colour, and I'm just going to be applying this at the free edge of the nail. So I place my bead down, I'm blending out the back of it slightly, and then I'm pulling that down towards the free edge, making sure to get right around the side walls. Because of how pinched these tips are, I found that I was working a little bit different to normal, because I haven't worked on such pinched tips in quite a while. So I'm just making sure I get right around those side walls so that there's no gaps. And then I'm just coming in with another bead and doing exactly the same, really, just to build up the colour a little bit more. Always making sure to blend out the back of that bead slightly so that there's not a too harsh line where your white ends. So as you can see, I'm just using my brush just to blend that out. You don't need to blend it out too much, to be honest. And then I will leave that white to set before coming in with my pink acrylic, because I always find ombres are a lot easier to do if that first colour has dried. So I'm just going to move on and do exactly the same on the middle finger. So again, I'm placing down that white, blending out the back of the bead and then pulling it down towards the free edge. Now, if you work with CJP, I highly recommend getting either Milky Pink or Coconut Milk for a baby boomer. Those two colours are so easy to work with when it comes to doing ombre nails. They're just that little bit softer than the Snow White, and they apply that little bit easier. However, if you are wanting that really crisp white in an ombre, then definitely stick with the Snow White. I just feel that these give off a really nice soft effect which looks so pretty in a baby boomer. Just come in and add in a tiny bit at the tip here, but just because I felt as though that tip wasn't covered enough and I didn't want to end up filing into it and seeing the clear underneath. And then I will, like I said, just leave those two to set and I will pop back to them further along in the video. So I'm now going to move on to the pointer finger, and I'm coming in with that Hot Ember again, and I'm just placing it down and trying to get a nice even coverage. Like I said, I struggled a little bit with the colour, so it's not the best application. It's definitely one that I think I need to give a stir and then have another little play around, because I've seen some absolutely amazing sets done with this colour on the CJP group. So I definitely think it's just one where maybe the application's a little bit different and I'm not using it to its best potential. So I'm just going to continue doing this. I'm not worrying about creating too much coverage down at the cuticle and nail bed area because that's where I'm going to be applying my glitter. So I just wanted a wash of colour there anyway so that I can keep it nice and thin, just because then there's a pop of colour behind my glitter. Being really careful around that cuticle area not to get any on the skin or the cuticle because it will cause lifting, and with a colour like this as well it will cause staining too, so just being that little bit extra careful. And then because the tip of the nail is staying that hot ember colour, I just popped a little bit more on just so it was fully opaque. And then the gorgeous glitter that I'm going to be using is Champagne Spritz from Smileys glitter store. I absolutely love this. It's a proper champagne gold glitter mix and it is absolutely stunning. I'm just going to be picking this up with small wet beads of my CJP crystal glass. So rather than finishing off the pointer finger, I jumped straight to the thumb here. And what I'm doing is I've just picked that up with a bead of crystal glass and placing it down at the cuticle area, keeping my brush quite wet with monomer so I'm able to move those pieces of glitter around. And then I'm just getting them all into place at that cuticle area. I'm going to cover the entire nail bed with the glitter and then just fade it out into a clear tip. So I'm just taking my time using the very tip of my brush to get that glitter as close to the cuticle area as possible. And remember, we've got that thin clear base down already, so this glitter isn't going directly on top of the nail plate. And then again, I'm just picking up small wet beads of clear acrylic, dipping into that raw glitter and applying it as needed. I wanted to make sure the nail bed and natural free edge tip was fully covered by the glitter because I don't really like seeing the natural nail through my extensions. So I was just making sure that there was full coverage on the natural nail bed before fading that glitter out. And then I'm just using light strokes to fade it out, and then just tapping on pieces here and there. I'm not adding any extra acrylic here because I just want to add small amounts of the glitter to create that fade. And then I'm just going to come in and check that I'm happy with the coverage, and I'm a little bit out of shot here, but I was just faffing about and making sure I was happy with the fade. Then I'm going to move back to the pointer finger and apply that same glitter down at the cuticle area. So again, picking it up exactly the same as before, tapping and nudging it up into place to get a neat cuticle line, and then I'm going to be fading this out the same as the previous nail. And I felt as though this champagne glitter went absolutely beautiful over the hot ember, but I did feel as though this set had a little bit more of a Christmassy winter look than what I was going for. Originally I wanted it to be a bit more of a simple autumn set, but I felt as though the gold against the maroon colour just looked a little bit Christmassy. But I thought they was really pretty, and I'm glad I pushed myself and did a long set on myself. It's been a while since I've had a long set of nails, and especially haven't had stilettos in ages either. I'm actually quite surprised how well I'm coping with them. I did them on a Saturday and it's now Monday, and I have not removed them, where when I first recorded this video I thought they would only last a couple of days. But anyway, on to finishing up those baby boomers. I'm going to be coming in with CJP Fantasy, and this is going to be the nude colour that I'm using for the nail bed and blend area. So I'm placing down my first bead, blending out the back of it, and then creating my blend. So I work with this bead at a medium to wet consistency just to help create an easy blend. And as you can see, I'm just blending it over that white acrylic, pulling off any excess that I don't need. And I'm just using nice light strokes with my brush just to help create that fade. You don't want to pull too much of that nude acrylic down over the white because it will overpower it. And that was what I actually did here. I took down a little bit more than I wanted to, so I was just removing that excess. And then I'm going to come in with my cuticle bead, and I'm going to place that right down at that cuticle area, tap it up towards the cuticle and into place, making sure that it blends into the natural nail. And then I'm taking it from side to side and blending it over that previous bead of acrylic. It didn't go 100% to plan, and I had blended it out a little bit too much at the cuticle area, and it was a little bit thin there. So I do come in with another bead just to build that up a little bit. So you'll just see I'm just popping that bead down, tapping it into place, and then pulling just the top of that bead of acrylic down over the previous bead. And when I'm working around that cuticle area, I'm just using the very tip of my brush just to help get it as close to that cuticle as possible without ending up touching. And then here I just come in with another bead of acrylic just because I wasn't 100% happy with the coverage. Just blending that down, keeping the sidewalls nice and clean, and we're now ready to move on to do pretty much the exact same on the middle finger. So you'll see here I place my bead down and then I always blend out the back of that bead of acrylic, and this is so that the next bead of acrylic, when we place it down, it doesn't have a huge ridge to come over the top. It will just flow nicely over that previous bead of acrylic because it's blended in. So I always like to take the time to do that. Then again, placing my cuticle bead down, and you can see here I'm just using that very tip of my brush to push it up towards the cuticle area. And then blending it down over that white acrylic. I think Fantasy and Milky Pink actually make a really nice soft Babyboomer. Fantasy is probably my favorite core powder from CJP, to be honest. It's really easy to work with, but you can use it drier and get a really opaque color with it, and then you can use it more medium to wet in things like a Babyboomer where it's just got that slight transparency to it so that it fades nicely. So this is what my nails looked like once I'd finished applying all of that glitter and acrylic. I then went off camera and capped them all in my CJP crystal glass, and I also did all of my filing and buffing off camera. I then gave the nails a good scrub to make sure all of that dust was removed, and we're then ready to come in and top coat. And I'm going to be top coating using my CJP tack free top gloss. I absolutely love this top coat. I know CJP have also brought out another top coat now. I believe it's called Time to Shine. I'm yet to try that one, but I am really excited to try it because I really love this one. I've been using it ever since I started with CJP, which has been a couple of years now, and I absolutely love it. It wears so well. Like if I have a set of nails on for 3 weeks, they'll still be shiny, which I absolutely love. So I'm just going to apply a thin layer of this to all of the nails, making sure not to get any on that cuticle or skin area, and then I'll pop it in to cure for a full 60 seconds. And that's pretty much the end of the set. So I'm just going to take a moment to say a huge thank you to all of you who watch my videos, and especially to those who comment and like. It really does mean a lot to me. I know I say it in a lot of videos, but I really do appreciate all of your comments. So thank you for that. If you're watching and you're not already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you always get notified when I upload a video. Hopefully in the next couple of days I'm going to start on creating some winter and Christmas designs, so keep an eye out for those. And I've also received a bit of nail mail over the last week as well, so hopefully I will have some hauls up on my channel as well. And I'm just going to quickly jump back to the nails, and I wanted to say this is why I absolutely love the CJP crystal glass and this top coat, because the clarity on both of them is absolutely amazing, especially when you are doing things like clear tip nails or glass nails, whichever you prefer to call them. So you'll see here I've finished top coating. I then popped them in to cure for 60 seconds, and this is the finished result. I'm then going to leave them to cool for a minute. This top coat, it's super shiny, but if you apply your cuticle oil too soon, it does dull it slightly. So I always just give it a minute to cool from coming out of the lamp before coming in and adding my cuticle oil. So I'm loving this Kiki London cuticle oil at the moment, so I'm just going to apply a drop of this to all of my nails and then give it a good massage in, and we're ready to reveal the finished result. I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I really hope you liked this set. If you did, then please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you all again in the next video. Lots of love, take care and stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.